listening to the IFF TV podcast.
Hi Nathan, how you doing? How are you?
Not too bad. So, in this squad that you've named, there's quite a few injury issues still with the likes of Kelleher, Aaron Connolly, James McLean. Can you give us an update as to what's going to happen over the next few days and how likely they are to be ready for Serbia?
Yeah, there is a bit of uncertainty, alright. I will agree with that. I think Queeveen is obviously an abdominal tear, but we have till next Wednesday till the game. So we'll meet up on Sunday in Manchester and he'll join up with the squad and we'll assess him. We'll see how his rehab goes in between now and then. James is early enough days in his rehab as well, James McLean, so we'll have to see how that goes. It's too early to predict that. And Aaron Connolly, I think Aaron Connolly will be okay. I think I'm positive that he has had a fractured rib and he's been coming back, but he has resumed training, and we're hopeful that we'll have him next week.
There's obviously been significant change behind the scenes since the last camp with Damien Duff's departure and Anthony Barry coming in. Can you talk about the process of replacing Damien Duff and how you came to deciding that Anthony Barry was the one to come in, and also on Damien Duff's departure so sudden, did you feel in any way let down that he wasn't here to see it through till the end?
No, I think, Damien Duff, absolutely legendary player, one of the great Irish players, and a terrific coach, and we're delighted to have him here, and he resigned obviously for private reasons, and Anthony's replaced him. We're still forging a relationship, and he's been very bright over the last few weeks, but that's really it. It's about players ultimately, and we've got a bigger squad than we normally would have with 29 players, and football is about players, and we mustn't lose sight of that. We'd rather focus on that really, on the players that we've got. I think one of the things that's interesting, Nathan, is that we have 12 players that have come through the international setup, the under-21s, and into the senior team. That's 12 in the last couple of years in this squad. So we've players from the four corners of Ireland, really, the four provinces. We've got Queeveen Kelleher, obviously from Ringmountain Rangers. We've got St Kevin's Boys, the goalkeeper, Shamrock Rovers, the Manchester Irish, Man United, and O'Shea at St Kevin's, Ryan Manning at Mayorview in the midfield, Jason Knight at Cabinteely, Jason Malumbi, Villa FC, Josh Cullen, sort of the London Irish at West Ham, and the forward Ronan Curtis at Derry, the Troy-Parrott at Belvedere, and Aaron Connolly at Mayorview, and that's like grassroots clubs who are producing players who are being either produced then with the National League clubs or going to England, and that's we didn't have that for 8 years of hardly anyone coming through, and all of a sudden we've got 12 players coming through the system now to join up the good experienced players that we have. Behind that we've Nathan Collins and Adam Ida and Michael Obafemi and other lads who Jim Crawford has in the under-23s. So we've another crew coming through after that, and we want to have a system where we have continuous crew of players coming through every year. And that has to be the ambition with the development of football throughout Ireland. People say we don't have any emerging players. Well, I think what does the FAI stand for? What is the reason for its existence? Surely this is a strong reason for its existence, that grassroots clubs infiltrate players that grow at the clubs into the international underage teams and into the senior team, and now the culmination of which is the World Cup qualifiers next week in Serbia, which we're looking forward to.
Gavin Cooney, please.
Me, Kieran, yeah, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, hi Stephen, I'm coming through, yeah.
Hi Gavin, yeah, how are you?
Good stuff. Shane Duffy, Stephen, has played every minute under your tutelage so far, but he's had a fairly torrid time at Celtic since you were last involved in the international squad. So is he still an automatic starter for you, or is his place under threat?
I think it's fair to say that nobody is an automatic starter, and there isn't really anyone. I can honestly say there's nobody in the squad that would be an automatic starter, and I've no problem leaving anyone out. But what I will say about Shane Duffy, we know that he's had a tough year. He knows he's had a tough year at Celtic. He's been an incredible. He's been a great player. He's never let Ireland down. Shane Duffy's never let Ireland down. He's played when he's been injured. He's played 3 games in 6 days. He's travelled twice within that. Put everything on the line for Ireland continually, and we shouldn't forget that. We shouldn't forget that just because he's having a tough time. And so he's capable of coming back. He's back training with Celtic, and he's in their squad for the match the weekend. He may not be selected, but he comes back into our squad.
And then at the other end of the pitch, Troy Parrott is included for the first time proper, I suppose, in terms of being named in a squad at the start of the window. Is he ready to start, do you think, a game as big as Serbia away on Wednesday?
No, I think it's fair to say that Troy is unlikely to start against Serbia, and I think he has found life goals hard to come by, obviously, since he started playing in the Championship in League One. But we've seen him play live. One thing that he's done, his work rate has been really exceptional. He gives everything for the team all the time, and I think we understand Troy is in the team because we've seen it with our own eyes from when he was 15, 16, 18, under 19s, under 21s. Scored 5 exceptional goals for me in about 4 games, really top class against good teams. And we've seen it with our own eyes. We've seen it at Tottenham growing up. So this is part of his. Nobody gives you anything in life. I think you have to earn it, and nothing goes always swimmingly. And goes, where you just come in and hit the ground running. And maybe Haaland or something at Dortmund, maybe that's happened for him, but not too many others. And I think he's finding his way. He's shown a good attitude. And now he's unlikely to start in Serbia, I would say, but he's there for the 3 games and a valuable member of the squad.
Thanks, Stephen.
Thanks.
Paul Walsh, please, from Virgin.
Thanks, Kieran. Hi, Stephen. Can you hear me there?
Paul, how you doing? How are you?
How's it going? Stephen, do you think that the departures, are you concerned that perhaps the departures and the sudden departures of Alan and Damien could affect morale in the camp?
No, I'm not. I think of great respect for the contributions Alan Kelly and Damien Duffy made to Irish football. Both of them made tremendous service to Ireland over the years. So I'm not at all. I mean, ultimately, the players understand World Cup qualification is unique. We haven't qualified since 2002, since Japan and Korea. This is a sort of a new 12 new players. You've got experienced players like Captain Seamus Coleman is back. Is tremendous boost having Seamus back in the squad. And I think ultimately we understand that it's a difficult thing to do to qualify for a World Cup, but it was only 8 games in the qualifier. World Cup campaigns used to be 18 months at times, and Serbia's half of their campaign is in March nearly. They've 3 out of their 8 games in March. So it's unusual. So it's a 6-month campaign from March to November. We'll know whether we're in the playoffs, whether we're going to the World Cup, whether we're not. And I think so I think it's a huge motivation for the players, and the 3-game windows, how you navigate them. We've learned a lot in the last couple of months because we had 3-game windows and 3 competitive games. Some other countries haven't, and we've learned a lot in that period. And that's new for international football. That's never happened before, and so it's we're looking forward to the games. Tough game against Luxembourg, believe it or not, because when you see traditionally Luxembourg would have been in the distant past a comfortable victory. I think obviously now they've had 10 points in the Nations League they got, and had some good results in recent times, including beating Cyprus twice and other results. So I think Montenegro, I think from our point of view, we're getting ready for Serbia first and foremost. On Wednesday we meet up on Sunday, and we're meeting in Manchester, training there Monday. We fly to Serbia. Our preparations will be good, considering we've a lot to catch up on with limited time on the grass, and we have to make sure we get ourselves ready.
Just a quick one, final one from me, Stephen. Last year, after the England game, at a press conference here in Dublin, you said that there may be people behind the scenes who may not have the best interests at heart for this team. Do you still feel that?
I think, listen, Paul, I'm just really focusing on the game. We're playing Serbia, and we've got 3 good games this week against Serbia, Luxembourg, and we play Qatar, obviously, in Hungary. And we're getting ready to train, and we're all our energy is really focused on that. At this stage, that's what I would say.
Thank you. Best of luck.
Thanks.
Dan, picture, please.
Thanks, Kieran. Hi, Stephen. How's it going?
How you doing? How are you?
Good, not too bad. Listen, I wanted to ask you just in terms of the goalkeeping situation. Obviously, Darren Randolph for obvious reasons. Queeveen Kelleher, Gavin Bazunu getting a call up to the senior squad for the first time. Mark Travers, Kieran O'Hara. How do you see that? Is that a positive headache for you to have now heading into a new campaign?
Yeah, I could see why people be concerned. The lack of experience. I think I understand that. I think Darren. In the sort of 7 competitive games that Darren's played, just conceded 4 goals. So I think someone said he played 38 consecutive games. It was just said to me whether that, in terms of competitive games, whether that's true. So he's been a very consistent player for Ireland. Queeveen has had obviously played 10 under-21 internationals for me. Under me, and he was brilliant, did very well. I think he's played 5 games for Liverpool this year, 2 in the Champions League, so he's used to big games, and that won't be an issue for him. Mark Travers is definitely the next one in, and Mark is obviously played for Ireland already, made his debut and played some important games for Bournemouth and had a recent spell at Swindon. We've seen obviously the other Gavin do brilliantly at he's a brilliant young prospect, and Kieran, who's been in the squad before. So that's where we are at the moment. They're the best goalkeepers that we have.
And one more from me then. I suppose you've had quite a length of time to give a little reflection on how things have gone over the last number of months since you took over, results wise and other aspects as well. What are your main takeaways from, I suppose, the games you've played, the results, and what you're hoping to take into this in terms of, sort of improvements and getting yourselves on a better footing? Yeah,
we've learned a lot, and I think we definitely have learned a lot. I think, we're disappointed we're not going to Euros, for example. Obviously, you haven't taken the playoff away in Slovakia. It's a game that we dominated and played very well in, and lost on penalty, so it's something that we have to. It's been really about the games in the main competitions, the Euros and the World Cup. I think the Nations League, we were a bit experimental for sure. We introduced a lot of players. I don't need to go over the whole the absence of players we had with COVID and so forth. That's been well documented, but we learned a lot, and we have to be more tactically more flexible for sure, and we have to adapt quicker. I think to game plans, and I think, but we showed a lot of promise in in periods of a lot of those games, and as I said, we've learned a lot about our preparation behind the scenes for the 3-game windows, and hopefully we can improve all aspects of our preparation and get ready for Serbia on Wednesday.
Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you. Thanks,
okay, guys, we've got about 3-4 minutes left. We'll move on to Damien Spellman, please.
Stephen.
Hi Damien, how you doing?
Good, thanks, Ian. Stephen, just when you look back at, as you say, the coronavirus, how it interrupted you last year, look at the injuries you've got now, do you ever sit back and bemoan your luck at all?
No, not really. It's a real privilege to manage Ireland. I'm very fortunate. I realise that. Great honour. I see what you mean. Some players that are missing. We spoke about John Egan, how important he is. James McCarthy in the midfield, Darren Randolph, and other players. But I think I'm very happy with the squad that we've got. Got a good blend of youth and experience. Yeah, some of the players are not getting the action, the action that you'd want. like Callum Robinson, for example, who was, hasn't played in a while and is an important player. So I think that's the reality of where we are at the moment. But we doesn't mean that we can't come together and put in a really strong performance in Serbia, and we want to make sure we're ready. Serbia are, when I look at their, they've got 7 or 8 attacking players playing at the top club clubs around Europe, and it's difficult to predict what 3 they have, because they genuinely have real strength and depth in their attacking play. But it's immaterial really, because really we've got to focus on getting ourselves right and making sure we're absolutely right for the game itself, and make sure that we can prepare as best we can in the short time, maximise the time we have.
You asked about Troy Parrott earlier. At the other end of the scale, you've got Shane Long back in the squad. What can Shane bring to the squad at 34?
Yeah, well, Shane obviously has a lot of very good attributes, and I think the problem at Southampton was that he was hardly playing. When he was coming on, it was in the 80 odd minute, and he wasn't even getting like good amount of minutes, and it was hard to get matches in. And he, to his credit, he just didn't stay there. He went out on loan, to his credit, and I thought that was a good move from his point of view. And we went to watch him. I've seen him play Nottingham Forest, play very well as the lone striker. He played last week in a front 2 with Solanke. He'd been previously playing in the 4-2-3-1 as the lone striker. He has been in and out of the team. He's not playing this weekend because he's cup tied, but he he has shown some good form. I think he's actually playing better now since he's gone to Bournemouth. With the probably getting a few consecutive games under your belt helps you. It's not perfect because he's not playing every game, but it's that's where it is.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thanks.
Ed Leahy, RTE.
Thank you. Stephen, I suppose first of all, just you mentioned lack of experience in goal and I suppose injuries at the back. Richard Keogh and Kieran Westwood played against each other last night in the Championship. Were either player considered for this squad?
Yeah, both players, in fact, Ed, were considered, and I think Kieran isn't available really at the moment to be for selection. He had broken ribs and he missed a month, and it was a surprise to see him in the team sheet last Saturday actually, and I'd spoke to him to check his availability, but he's not even training at the moment with Sheffield Wednesday, and he can't train. He's just he's just sort of putting himself on the line and getting through matches and not training, and as he still has recovering from a broken rib. Richard, yeah, sure, I've been to watch Huddersfield and so forth. I've seen him play Luton, seen him play other matches, and he's getting back into it, and yeah, he's done brilliantly to rebuild his career, to be fair.
Grand. Another question, just if you just clarify, is Westwood still is he still keen to play for Ireland?
Yeah, no, he has said he's keen to play for Ireland, but he's ruled out because in his view, in his words, he's only 60% fit at the moment.
Oh yeah.
In his words.
Cool. And so then, just in terms of the Serbia game, is the benchmark for that performance the Slovakia away match, I suppose? And what do you expect from the Serbia team, considering they have a difficult start to their campaign? They want to make an impression at home, I suppose.
Yeah, we did see contrasting performances. We've seen obviously Serbia go and beat Norway away, and they were very impressive in that in the semi-final of the playoff, where they dominated and definitely deserved to win that. And obviously Scotland, got a great result there, and you have to admire that. And so that was a shock probably in Serbia at the time, because they had done so well in the semi-final, and they've got a lot of players. So they're a good team, and they haven't always been the most consistent of teams, I think, but they have a lot of good players, and but we've got to just focus on making sure we're right, and I'm hopeful that we will be.
Okay, David Dunn from Lansdowne Road.
Hey Stephen, I'm just wondering,
Hi,
obviously
David.
with this campaign, it's a brand new campaign, is it more about getting a young team together and blooding them together as opposed to qualification?
No, it's not. No, it's it's putting the best players in my view that we have together, but it's a combination of youth and experience. I think we have a sort of roadmap of, we have a vision and a roadmap of how we want to play going forward, and what and to create vehicles for opportunities, really, for players to come through and be given an opportunity. But we're not just saying we're looking at the next campaign. That's not the reality. You can't. That's not the reality. I think you get opportunities in life, and the World Cup qualification is one of them, and you have to try your best and do everything you can to try and get there. And I think the odds might be stacked against you. Portugal, European champions, Nation League champions, but and Serbia are very strong, but nevertheless, there's only 8 games, and a good start can put you in a good position in a group of only 8 games. A lot of the other groups have 10 games, obviously, 16 groups. So yes, I think a lot of these players for Germany 2024 will be even further down the line. Their careers will be a lot stronger, but that's not just the focus is on the game on Wednesday, and we have a blend of youth and experience, really, I would say.
And just one more question. With the youth and experience, how close was Aidan Geely to getting called up for the squad?
Listen, I think I was at a few Charlton matches last year when Aidan was at Charlton and Josh Cullen was playing. I was going watching Josh Cullen, and Aidan was only sort of a periphery role there. He was coming on. He wasn't starting as such. He was on loan there, and then he's gone back to Sunderland, and they're having a great season now at the moment. He's had in League One. There are jumps in the levels: Premier League, Championship, League One. I think I managed against Aidan McGeady in the 2007 Scottish Cup final for the Burnley against Celtic in Hampden, and he was brilliant. I always admired him. I love, his tremendous skill set and brilliant feet, and he's having a good period now as a creative passer at times in the crosser with Sunderland. But at the moment we've gone with the players that we've gone with, the younger players coming through, Jason Knight and players of that ilk, so I think that's a sort of a new opportunities for a lot of players coming through, and but yeah, I have great respect for Aidan McGeady.
Okay, guys, thank you very much.